we're going to be talking about the top reasons that your customers or the clients that you really want to be working with, the ones that you really know that you can help, why they're not actually reaching out to you. All right. And we're going to go through why this is the case. And we're going to get into plenty of detail. All right. How many of you guys would love, based on where you're at right now in your business, to have the right clients? All right. And we know that you can have clients, but how many of you guys want the right clients? And we talk about the right clients. We talk about dream clients, the people that if you could just have that picture perfect, like if maybe you've had a client like that in the past, you're like, gosh, I wish I could clone this person and I could have 10 of Susan. I could have 10 of Keith. I have 10 of Amber, right? I wish I could clone this person. How many of you guys would love to be able to actually kind of clone those dream clients and be able to have an entire wait list working with them, right? Is it just me? Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not just me on this, right? I think all of us would love to have that dream client. And if you're in a product-based business, this is the same thing, right? If you have a product that you're selling, it's having that demand that is so high in demand that it's hard to keep up with. All right. So we're going to go ahead and keep moving right through this and get right in this. And I'm sure that many of you guys have you provide a really high quality service, and whether it's a product or a service, you pour your heart, you pour your soul into what you do, right? So many of us are horse people, we're willing to sacrifice our own personal needs for making sure that the horses are well taken care of, making sure our clients are taken care of. And it's sometimes it's even our own mental, physical, emotional health that goes to the wayside to do this. I would love to show you how you don't have to do that. That's not necessarily what we're talking about today. But when it comes to working with fellow horse people, right, I don't ever have to question whether you guys are doing everything you can to possibly serve your clients at the highest level. All right. And I want you guys to think about how frustrating this idea is that you're putting all this time, you're putting all this effort, you're putting all of this, your blood, sweat, and tears into what you do every day, and people that you can be serving, people that you are meant to be serving, people that actually need what you can provide them, they're finding you. They're finding you on social media. If you have a website, they can be finding your website. They might be finding your YouTube channel. They're finding you somehow. But then the people that you could be serving, the people that you could actually be helping are scrolling past you. And I want you to sometimes there's two things that move us forward in life. There's pain and there's pleasure, right? Right now we're going to focus on a little bit of pain, right? How frustrating is that idea that you're putting all this effort into growing your business and trying to do the best you can to serve these people, and they're finding you, they know about you, but then they're just like, no, I don't think so, and they move on. Not because you're not the right fit, but just merely because they've made a decision, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but that's super frustrating to pour so much into a business to be able to try to do everything you can to serve people at the highest level, and then them to look at yourself and just to keep moving on down the road. You never even hear from them. They never reach out. They never ask questions. You never even know they're there. They're basically like a ghost. And so many of us, if I asked you hey, how many people do you think go to your social media page, go to your website, have thought about your services in the last month, but you never heard from? If I asked you, some of you guys might be saying, hey, I think it's one person, maybe 3 people, maybe 5 people, maybe 10 people. If you're in a product-based business, it might be 100 people, right? That thought about buying your particular product and just kept moving on down the road. And, most of us underestimate that number. Most of us say, oh, it was probably 5 people. All right. And it might be more like 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, way more than what we believe. And because people, and we're going to talk about the evidence behind this. We're going to statistically talk about this in a little bit, but there are far more people out there that need what you have, that want what you have, that you can actually be serving, that are passing through your ecosystem, but you never knew they were there. All right. And one thing that I tell a lot of my business mentorship students, some of which are on this call right now watching because they're kind of absorbing everything, is one thing I tell them is You never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. There are people that are following you on social media that never interact with it. They never hit the like button. They never comment, but they're there, right? They're ghosts. They're sitting back. They're watching, but they're not interacting. And we all know this because there's a lot of ways to go about that. And we're not going to go completely into that now, but you never know who's watching, right? Whether it's that sponsor, that client, that potential investor, they're there. A lot of times they're there. And the same thing when we're specifically talking about trying to capture our new clientele, trying to bring in new customers, trying to have new people that can buy our product. These people are there. You just don't know it. And so as a business owner that you put so much into, guys, I know how frustrating it is. So we're gonna talk about why, like what is going on. So what specifically, as I've said, what we're gonna talk about is the top reasons that your clients that you want, that you can be serving, are not reaching out to buy or service your product. All right, I want that to be very clear that is what we are covering in the rest of this call. And then if you guys are okay with it, towards the end, I'm going to go through a few strategic things that you can do within your business to get these people to actually reach out to you. All right. If that's cool with you guys, let me know. I'll do that at the end. If that sounds good to you guys, we're going to go through some strategy, but we can't implement strategy if we don't understand why people aren't doing the thing that we want them to do. The number one thing that I'm not covering today, simply because I quit beating, basically, for lack of better terms, this dead horse a long time ago, which is I'm not going to be going into the fact that you need to be doing a high quality job with whatever product you have, with whatever service you have. I'm not going into that, right? If your results is subpar in your service, if your product doesn't get, high quality results for your clientele for what they're paying for, that has to get fixed first. All right. And I don't beat that dead horse because at this point, it should be understood as an entrepreneur that you should be doing everything in your power to get the very best results that you possibly can. And so I don't go down that rabbit hole. All right. And let's talk about the finances, right? We talked about how many people are kind of passing through your ecosystem. And I'm going to make this very clear that money is not like the number one thing at all by any stretch that we should be pursuing, right? Money is not the number one thing that we should be after. There's a lot more important things in life than money. But what does money fix? Money fixes money problems. Right? Money is a resource. Money is energy. Money is something that can be invested. You can buy your time back. You can invest that into other opportunities. You can invest that into your education. You can go on trips. You can have experiences that you otherwise could not have if you didn't have the money. Right? So money is not the goal. It's not the thing that we should be chasing, but it is not a bad thing to pursue. It just should never be the top thing that we're pursuing. There's a lot more important things like faith and family and service and giving back and serving other people. But when you put other people's needs above yourself, when you focus on serving those around you, whether it's horses, whether it's people, whoever it is that you're drawn, that your purpose is to be serving, the more that you serve other people, the more in return you get back. It is a game of the more that you give, the more that you will receive. And so it's not money that we're chasing. One of us here never got into horses because of money, right? Most of us got into horses simply because we loved horses. We have a passion for horses, and we found a purpose within that. We found a calling. We found something that we're good at and that we can actually utilize to make a difference in the lives of whether it's humans, horses, both, whatever it is, right? And so I like to really make things very black and white. And as a business owner, right, if you're not bringing in money, you can't keep the doors open on your business. And earlier I was saying, like, what happens if you have 3 people that look at your page, look at your social media a month, and they don't interact with you, right? And they don't interact with you. What happens? Well, if you have those 3 people, and let's just say that your service is $1,000 a month, because I like easy math, 3 people that pass through that you never even knew were there, that's $3,000 a month in opportunity that you lost because you never knew they were there. $36,000 a year just by 3 people. But if it was 9 people, if you had 9 people, which is not that many, right? 9 people merely being interested in it doesn't mean that they're all going to pay. Doesn't mean they're all going to pay, but it's the thing is you have to have people that are interested so that you can find the ones that are actually going to pay for it, right? It's like a fishing pond. You put 100 fish in the fishing pond, you're not going to, when you go fishing, you don't catch all 100 fish, right? But when you put 100 fish in the fishing pond, now you actually have a higher probability. It's better to fish in a pond than to fish in the ocean, right? Because you've got to concentrate it. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? You go into the fishing pond, now you've got 100 fish. Well, if you can bring in 200 fish into that same size pond, you have a lot higher likelihood that you're going to get clients that actually pay for your service, right? So we can talk about opportunity of people coming in, and then it's just increasing the likelihood that you can actually get a percentage of those to be paying clients. But if you have 9, right? That's $9,000. That's $108,000. It's over $100,000 a year. That if you have 9 people that you don't get to have conversations with, 9 people that you don't get to actually make a further impression on within your business, you're losing 6 figures a year in your business. The other thing is that if you're in a product-based business, you normally can have a lot more traffic, right? Because maybe you have a lower cost time. Say your item's $50 a month, and you have 50 people that merely look at your product but don't buy it, whether it's on Amazon, whether it's on your website, wherever they can find your product. If you have 50 people at a $50 product, it's $2,500 a month, 30 grand a year. Just by 50 people clicking on it, deciding it's not for them for specific reasons, which we're going to talk about, and then moving on. Guys, this adds up. It adds up if your service is $1,000 a month or if it's a $50 product. It adds up to serious dollars when you realize that there are more people normally looking at what you have to offer than what you even realize. So by the end of this call, there is 3 key things that I want to make sure that you're taking away, because I know quite a few of you guys are taking notes, and I want to make sure that we hit these things for you and that this is very outlined. So by the end of the call, guys, what I want you guys to really, really understand is what your dream clients are actually looking for on the front end. When they go out and they're looking for what you have to offer, I want you to truly understand what they're actually looking for, right? When I say what they're actually looking for, that means that so that you can have that in front of them so that they don't just disappear like ghosts into thin air, right? The other thing is I want you to truly understand the buying process that your customers go through. And it's not necessarily your buying process, it's the buying process that they've been programmed to have. We're going to talk about that. All right. And the third thing I want to go through is I want you to know what you can do to increase the number of clients and customers who inquire about your services or ultimately decide to purchase your product or your service. All right. So I want we're going to get down to a tactical point where you can implement some things to get more people really reaching out to you. All right. So this all is rooted in our 5-step process. We have a 5-step process that we developed with my horse training business, and we have utilized this same 5-step process into multiple different business opportunities that we have created. And today, when we're talking about bringing in new clients, this really falls into step number 2, which is our attraction step. All right. First step's decision, second step's attraction, third step's closing, fourth one's delivery, fifth one's retain and upsell. But today, what we're talking about is that second step, which is the attraction step. All right. And when we're focusing on this, there's a lot we're really talking about a very specific piece of the attraction step, right? Which is these people that are looking for this, but not actually inquiring. There's a lot more to the attraction process than just this, but I wanted to start with this free web class on this specific topic because I know so many of you guys have this problem. And if you can get it optimized, you can make a few key changes, then it could really actually make you a lot of money, and it could change the trajectory of your business. So that's why we're starting there. Before I figured this out personally, because everything that I teach, right, is things that I have either learned the hard way or I have invested a lot of money to learn from people that are way smarter, way more experienced than myself. But there was a point where my social media, my websites, the things that people were looking at were not optimized the way they were. And I was losing clients, maybe just like you are, right? Hopefully not, but if you are here, then you're like, I probably am. So, I was in this same position, and I had a barn that was half empty, and I needed every client that I could possibly have to be able to work with me, right? I needed those stalls to be filled. And so it was a pain point. That was the past, right? That was years ago. However, more recently, what really sparked a lot of this was I put up a video on TikTok a couple weeks back, and I wouldn't say it went viral, but it went to over 150,000 views fairly quickly. And the comment section got crazy, absolutely got crazy. And you have to be careful about going into the comment section, right? Because there's a lot of nasty things can get said, and you can't let it get to you. But within the comment section, you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot about people's human psychology. You can learn a lot about people's buying habits. You can learn a lot about what people are looking for, what they like, what they don't like. But you have to head into the comment section with a big plate of armor and some thick skin and a very objective perspective of why you're actually going to scroll through the comments. All right. And this video that I put up that got about 150K views fairly quickly, what really covered that I was really discussing there are more important things to defining a horse trainer, specifically is what I was talking about. There's more important things to finding a horse trainer than it is the money. All right. And the same goes for any service provider. The same goes for buying a product, right? There are more important things that we have to figure out outside of what it costs. So specifically, I refer to something called the training trifecta. Okay. And the training trifecta is a triangle. All right. It doesn't matter where you put these elements on the triangle. It's just a triangle. Okay. There's no specific order, no specific placement. It's just a triangle is a nice, it's a symmetrical shape. So within the training trifecta, you have the trainer or the service provider, you have the owner, and you have the horse. Okay. And for us, the way we have built our training business and the way that we mentor other horse professionals, service providers, trainers is that not every horse is for every trainer. Not every trainer is for every horse. Not every owner is for every trainer. Not every trainer is for every owner. Not every owner is for every horse. Not every horse is for every owner. Right. So in order for it to be a very symbiotic relationship, to be a good, powerful, effective, positive working relationship between a professional and an owner, as well as the horse that is involved in the process, right? It has to be a balance. It has to be the right fit around the triangle. So when that is the case, that means that to us, that is way more important than what it costs, right? If I'm a client that's going to send my horse to a trainer, on the priority list is making sure that trainer can get the results, making sure that trainer can solve the problem, making sure that trainer's values and training methods align with my personal values and what I want for my animal, right? That they provide high quality care. All of those things come before the price, okay? And that's what that video was discussing, and it stirred up quite the shitstorm. Okay. And I won't go into the whole video, but that was the premise of the video. And if all of those things, right, if the trainer and the owner are not in alignment, it doesn't matter how much the service costs, because it's not going to be a good fit. The trainer shouldn't hire the client shouldn't hire the trainer, and all those sort of things. But when we scrolled through the comments, something got super, super interesting. People were discussing their process to finding a horse trainer, to hiring a service provider. And it was super insightful, because at first it was just a bunch of arguing, bickering, and moaning, right? But then as you really started weeding through the comments, I've broken this down, which is exactly what we're going through. People were exposing themselves for how they shop for a service provider, how they shop, like what are their priorities? How are they looking at it? And there was a lot of complaining in there of like whether trainers or whether service providers should straight up tell people what their prices are, or should they not? And we're not going to get completely into this, but what you have to realize is that there's different types of clients, right? There's price shopping clients, there's value shopping clients. And at the end of the day, they all want what's best for their horses, but the way that they go through the process is a little bit different. So let's go ahead and dive into the buying habits that was exposed through this. And it really reinforced the process that we use within our step 2 of attraction to make sure that we really can be capturing these clients as much as possible. All right. And so the number one thing for you guys that are taking notes on this, the number one thing that came out of this was the majority, the vast majority, and I would say 90% easily that commented on that deal, 90% will do research on your service or your product before they ever reach out to you. Okay? They will do research before they ever reach out to you. And that is really a specific to a service-based business, right? Because if you have a product-based business, they're going to do their research and then they're going to buy it or they're not going to buy it. With a service-based business, right, they have to inquire about the service. They have to hire you. They have to go through whatever those steps are that you have in place so that you can work with them and their horse or whatever service you provide. But, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. I want you guys to drop this in the chat. All right. Like, have you guys ever had like a client, a customer that would you guys agree with this? Let me put it this way. Like, would you guys agree that like clients and customers that have reached out that you've worked with in the past, that let's say 8 or 9 out of 10 of them have done some sort of Facebook creeping, some sort of website stalking. Maybe they've even gone and reached out to people that you've worked with in the past before they ever reached out to you, right? Have you guys ever had this experience where people have gone before they reached out to you, and then you got to talk, when you did talk to them, like, oh yeah, I've been on your website. Oh yeah, I've looked at your social media pages. Oh, I've talked to Sally or Amy or Susie or Betty about the fact that you trained this horse for them, or they've been taking lessons from you. You guys have had this, right? So we know anecdotally, we know from our own experiences that folks have these tendencies that they are going to go around doing some Facebook stalking, some website creeping, that they're going to go talk with other people that they can find before they ever reach out to you. And when you realize that their priority is, I'm going to do as much digging as I can. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing all of this digging before they ever reach out to you? All right. Let's get into it. Why? Because they're trying to make a decision. They're trying to make a decision. All right. And if we boil this down, we're like, what the hell does this mean? Right? They're going to go do this Facebook stalking. They're going to do this. What does it actually mean to us? If they don't find what they need, they're not going to reach out to you. They flat out said it. If I don't find the information that I need about this trainer, about this service provider, about this product, they're not going to reach out to you. They're not going to ask you for clarifying questions. They're not going to ask you for the things that they consider to be basic information. They will simply go, nope, this person is not for me. And based on blank reason, and they're going to move on. And you don't ever have the opportunity to actually speak with them and say, yes, I can help you with this. Yes, we do it this way. Yes, this is our process. This is how we can help you. You don't get that opportunity, right? Because they didn't find it. They made a decision and they moved the heck on to the next person. And they'll keep doing that, leapfrogging until they find the person that does have the information that they need. And you never even get a chance because they've decided it based on what they usually, it's not what they did find. It's usually based on what they could not find. All right. It's usually based on what they could not find. All right. And so I'm not, and by any stretch, I'm not saying that this is a smart way to shop. Okay. I'm not saying that the way to go navigate things is well, I couldn't find the answers to my questions, so I'm just not going to use this person. I don't think that that's a very smart way, but it doesn't matter what I think, right? It doesn't matter whether you agree with me on this. The fact of the matter is that because of COVID, because of Amazon Prime, because of the transition that our culture, that society has had over the last 2 to 3 years with people being on the interwebs, right? They've been on the internet. And with all these changes, people are getting more and more comfortable with making online purchases and interacting and feeling like they're getting genuine interaction through digital interactions, right? Through looking at websites, through looking at social media. Because of this whole distance and we'll be safe thing that went on, people then utilize Zoom. We've utilized Facebook Live videos. We've utilized TikTok videos. We've utilized digital media as a means for getting the necessary information that we need. And before, if we rewind, a lot of times before all this happened, people, yes, would look at a Facebook page. Yes, they would look at a website. But then they were much more prone to go, well, can I just meet you at my barn? Or can I meet you at this location and get and like have a conversation with you? That was way more normal 3 years ago. But the fact of the matter is now people are not feeling like they have to do that. They're like, you know what? I can build, I can get the information I need to know. I can figure out whether I like this person. I can figure out whether I trust this person all online. And therefore, once I know whether if I get to know this person, if I like this person, if I trust this person, then I can make a decision as to whether they're the right person for me, right? The right service provider, the right horse trainer, the right body worker, the right product for me, all through online interaction. And these online interactions are not you on a video, they're them reading the information that you put up on the internet, right? Not the actual in-person interaction. So people have gotten way more comfortable with making those important, very, very, very important decisions. I mean, I've had more people cry sending horses to me in training than they did when they dropped their kids off at preschool, right? They're like, I've cried more sending my horse to you to go to training than I did when I dropped my kid off at preschool. And like real life conversations in the barn, right? They're big decisions, and people are getting more and more comfortable about making those decisions based on internet information before they ever actually reach out to you. All right. So that's one key element. Other element is because of COVID, because of Amazon, like Amazon Prime, for example, and all these other transitions that have had, people are becoming very accustomed and almost they expect to get things faster and faster and faster and faster, right? Like a microwave society on steroids. So they expect to be able to find the information much quicker, much easier, much faster than they ever have before, because other elements like Amazon Prime and all these other elements out there are delivering quicker, faster, more seamlessly. And the fact of the matter is that that's an experience for them. And if they don't have that experience with you and your business, then it's a roadblock. It's a bumpy experience, and they don't want that. So when you can recognize what people are getting used to, then you have to decide, hey, am I going to play the game? Am I going to keep up with this? And it's really important because these are things that oftentimes people don't consciously recognize, but when they don't get it, it kind of rubs them the wrong way, unfortunately. And so the other thing too that we're always fighting is the ever shortening of the attention span, which is a very huge problem for a multitude of reasons. But the fact of the matter is that when we look at people that have a shortening attention span, it means that we have to be able to get them the information that they need quicker, faster, more concise, to the point, give them what they need to know and don't give them the fluff, right? So that's really, really, really important that we can deliver that specifically in the written formats via your social media, website, all the things that we'll get into. And it really boils down. If they can not find this information in the way that they can consume it quicker, faster, easier, and more simple, they simply are just going to move on. And if they can't find what they need right then and there. And that means for us and for you that we've got what we have to do is we've got to be able to provide it to them right then and there. All right. And so we've gone through why. All right. We've gone through why this change has come about in the marketplace. We've gone through why consumers are making the decisions that they're making up to this point. We've gone through the impact in your business that it can have by not actually capturing these, what we would refer to as leads, right? Potential clients, potential customers that are coming through. Now, what do they actually need to know? Okay. What do they actually need to know from you? All right. What are they looking for? If they need to get this stuff right now, quicker, faster, more simple, what is it that they need to know? And so I've got a list here that I'm going to share with you. It's 6 things. Okay. And the beautiful thing about anything that is successful with horses, anything that is successful with business, is that it's a saying. This is a quote from a guy named Alex Hormozy, and it's simple scales, fancy fails. All right. Simple scales, fancy fails. So what I'm going to share with you, these 6 things are relatively simple. That doesn't necessarily make them easy to execute on, but they're very simple, because the more simple it can be, the more that we can scale it. All right. The more complicated things we make things, the harder it is to replicate them. And that's usually where, whether it's in horse training or business, things really start to crumble. All right. Things can be simple, but not easy at the same time. All right. So what are they looking for? These are very simple. They need to know that you can get the results that they want. All right. They need to know that you can get the results that they want. They need to know that you can solve the problem that they have. Okay. They need to know that you can solve the problem that they have. They need to know that you're qualified. All right. They need to know that you're qualified. They need to know that you're trustworthy. They need to know that your values align with their values. And the last thing, the 6th thing here, they need to know the process, the steps that they need to take to be able to work with you. They need to know what comes next, right? That's a part of that last one. And I'm going to elaborate just very quickly on that 5th one about values. Within attraction, the attraction phase, we oftentimes teach that like attracts like, or the saying of birds of a feather flock together. All right. You guys have probably heard that one before. Birds of a feather flock together. So this is not about telling people, like, there is way too much. And there was a world-renowned horseman that I was chatting with late last night or this morning about this. And there's a lot of people that want to pander to their audience. And if you do that, you are selling yourself as a slave, right? When I say that your values align with their values, that is not about you trying to guess what their values are and then trying to put those up there. That is complete bullshit, backwards way to do it. Do not do that. You need to be you. You need to be you, right? And the more that you step into what you believe in, how you do things, everything that makes you what you are as a business owner, as a service provider, all of that stuff, the more that you'll attract the right types of people to you in your business. All right. Your uniqueness is actually your leverage point. Your uniqueness is actually what's going to help you go to the next level in your business. But it's oftentimes the most scary thing to step into, because we get so damn worried about what other people are going to say about us, right? But when I say that they need to know that your values align with their values, they already know what their values are. They already know what training methods are important, like training styles resonate with them. They already know what training styles they don't like. They just merely need to know where you stand. They need to know where you stand in the grand scheme of things on your values and principles as a horseman, as a business owner, whatever, however it pertains to your particular service or product. That's what they need to know. But you have to, if they feel that you're just pandering to them, guess what they can't do? They can't trust you. And that breaks another thing that they have to have before they'll ever buy from you. So making sure that you're not pandering to that, but you are actually standing on your own 2 feet about the things that you stand for. All right. So I'll run through those really quickly because somebody just asked. They need to know that you can get the results that they want. They need to know that you can solve the problems that they have. They need to know that you are qualified. They need to know that you are trustworthy. They need to know that you align with their values, and they need to know the process, or in other words, the next steps they need to take to be able to work with you. All right. Those 6 things. Okay. So up to this point, we have covered quite a bit, right? We've specifically covered why folks skip past you, the psychology behind why they're going to skip past you, and we've covered what they're actually looking for. And we know that if they can't find the answers to those 6 things, then they're going to keep moving past you. All right. And at this point, we're getting into and some of you guys might have questions about this. I will answer it now. All right. And some of you guys were like, well, you didn't say anything about what they need to know in terms of pricing. Okay. This again is built on our philosophy of the training trifecta. Whether you do decide or do not decide to put the pricing of if you're selling a product, your pricing needs to be there. If you're selling a service, it's more nuanced than just whether I put the prices up or not, because there's a lot more strategy that goes into deciding whether your prices are displayed or not. Okay. Because when your prices are displayed or whether they're not displayed, it has a certain effect on the flow of traffic, the flow of people coming into your business. It has a certain effect on the consumer psychology when they see it or they don't see it on your website. And to be able to tell you, I cannot simply tell you whether to put it on your website or not put it on your website, because I don't know the nuances of your business. And so a lot of times people want to say, oh, whether do I put it up there or do I not put it up there? And it's oftentimes, as a mentor, as a coach, I would tell you it's not that simple of an answer. And that to really be able to decide that, we have to address other factors in your particular business. All right. It's a whole nother conversation, but I have a feeling that somebody's going, well, why didn't you say that they need to know the price? And it's not always a need to know piece of information if you can showcase the fact that you are the right fit for them. Or it's not even showcasing that you're the right fit for them. It's showcasing who you are, what you stand for, what you're capable of, what you do as a business, and how you go about doing it, and then letting them decide whether you're the right fit for them. It's completely in their court, but you have to give them those pertinent details so they can make that decision. All right. And then from there, the pricing can come in later, right? If all of that is in alignment, oftentimes money becomes less of an objection. So there's a lot that goes into putting pricing. Maybe I'll do a call on that at another time, but we're not going to get into that because there's a lot more nuance that goes into that specific deal. Now, are you guys cool if we get into some strategic things that you can do within your own social media pages, within your own websites to get tactical, right? To be able to capture these people. You guys let me know, because I want to be super respectful of y'all's time. And so Jessica says yes. Al, Scott, yeah. Let me get a sip of coffee here. Cool. All right, let's get into it. Let's do it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to start with is your social media pages. All right. And this could be your Facebook page, where on your Facebook page, they give you like an about section. They give you a description of your services. Facebook gives you several different features to be able to have like almost like a tagline. Like they give you a section, like a description. It's only maybe 100 characters or so. And then they have the about section where you can write kind of like a dissertation. Instagram, right? Your Instagram bio is only so long. You only have, I don't know exactly how many characters it is, but it's fairly limited. And then TikTok, for example, you're able to have, it's even more limited than Instagram. I think it might be 100 characters there on Instagram. It's super limited as well. Fact of the matter is, it is still all 3 of those places. Doesn't matter how long worded you can be or how limited you can be. It's an opportunity to provide pertinent information. And the name of the game is, how can we say more less? All right. How can we say as much as we possibly can in the least amount of words possible? Because we know they have a short attention span. So when you go, so I want to know how many of you guys, I would anticipate almost everybody has a Facebook page. If you do not have a Facebook business page, you need to set up a Facebook business page, not just your Facebook personal page, right? Have a Facebook business page, have your Facebook Instagram page, have a business TikTok account, right? Have a business YouTube channel, like all of those areas, depending on what you're focused on. You don't have to have all of them, but let's just go with Facebook to begin with. You need to have that designated for your business. All right. It's a professional thing to do. And they need to know what you can focus on. Like, they need to actually know what you can do for them. Right. So when people write the biographies, when they write the descriptions, do you guys have any idea what one of the number one words that everyone uses that absolutely kills the vibe for potential customers and clients? It's I. I train horses to do this. I do this. I've done this. I believe in this. I do this. So many people, when they see about me, right, on our websites, you might have a page that's about me, or your description on your business page, it's like, tell us about you and your business. Everyone wants to think, I need to tell them about me. And it's not about you. I hate to break it to you. It's not about you. Right? Within your descriptions, your Instagram bios, your TikTok bios, your Facebook business page, all right? It's not about you. It's about your customer. It's about your client. Why are they coming to you? Why? Because they have a problem. They want a result. They need help, right? They want help from a professional. They're coming because of their own needs. They're coming because they need help with something or they want something. And one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make is they write those sections truly about them. When you craft that section, you want to write that focused on who you're serving, right? You need to focus on writing that about section about serving them. So you can do this by specifically just addressing, and everyone has a different service, right? Everyone has a different service of what you're doing, but you want to take the results that they want, the problems that they have, the solutions that you provide, and clearly let them know what you do. Okay? They need to know what you can do for them. What do you do? Because when they come to, they're like, can this, you always put your mind into the mind of the potential buyer. They're going to come to you going, can this person even help me? They need to know. You need to be able to answer that question in the very beginning of those about sessions. Can this person even help me? Okay, so what do you do? Okay, this is what Jessica does. This is what Amber does, right? This is what Sean does. This is what Kimberly does. Okay, if they go, boom, that's helpful. Kimberly's an equine body worker. Oh, he's a cold starter. Oh, he's a performance horse trainer. Oh, she does dressage. Oh, they focus on liberty training. They focus on this. Okay, they need to know what you do so they can decide whether what you do will help them with what they want or need. Then it's more about how you do it. Okay, what you do, how you do it. And then you, through those, you can showcase, sometimes in like Facebook, you can kind of showcase more of those 6 things. The fact of the matter is that on social media, that's just the step, right? We're just getting fish into the fish pond. What do you really want them to do? You want them to reach out. You want them to reach out. So what you do, how you do it, and then you get to decide how much more in depth you want to go. On a social media page, I would highly recommend you keep it short and sweet. Short and sweet to the point. If you want to redirect them to your Facebook or to your website, if you have a website, then you can redirect them to the website where maybe there's more information. There's more testimonials. There's more case studies that prove that you're qualified, that prove that you're trustworthy, that prove that you've gotten these results before. And there's a process in place for them to actually take the next steps to work with you. If you don't have the website in place, let's say, for example, okay, then you might direct them directly to an email. You might directly direct them to a phone call. Call me, text me, reach out to me here, whatever the case is. For our students, and we're not like, for our students, what we tell them is on their website, they have an entire page dedicated to that service. And that web page is strategically set up based on what they do, how they do it, the specifics of their program, right? And they answer all the questions that the clients will have on that website, because on a website, they're looking for more in-depth information. On social media, your client is still in a very short attention span type mindset. When we get them to a website, they're a little bit more focused. We can answer more questions. We can provide testimonies. We can provide case studies. We can showcase the fact that they're qualified. And then even in there, we implement a process of a training horse application to where the clients have to go through that, because again, the training trifecta, right? We have to actually evaluate whether this client, whether we can help the client, whether the client is right for us, whether the horse is right for our program. So that would be the next step in the process. That's the sixth thing, right? The sixth thing of what's the process to work with you. We guide them into that sixth step. For you though, you may not have a website, you may not have a training horse application, and you might just merely need them to send you an email, send you a text message you on Facebook, whatever the case is. Okay. But first and foremost, people are quickly looking for this information. And I highly believe that you use what you got to begin with. Okay. You use what you got to begin with. So if all you have right now is a Facebook page, then that's what you start with. Okay. Start with that. Optimize your description, optimize your Facebook page. Right? If you write a Facebook post, I'm going to go a little bit extra, okay? If you write a Facebook post that gives a good indication of what your training horse program is like, then put a call to action. Tell them what to do if they're interested in working with you. Don't leave it up for freaking grabs. Like if you write a post and you're like, hey, someone might read this, it might be interested in me training their horse. Then tell them, hey, if you are interested in working with me and me train and talking about the opportunity for me to train your horse and work with you, send me a message, call me, email me here. Like give them specific instructions. They need to know what to do. All right. Don't leave it up for grabs. Don't just hope that they can find your email. That's another thing, okay, that I need to mention. When it comes to the process, so we've talked about your descriptions. Let's rehash this. We've talked about your descriptions on all of your social media pages. They need to be optimized to let people know what you do, and if you have enough room, how you do it, and then direct them to what they need to do next. All right. Within your processes of actually getting them to contact you, which is why a lot of you guys are here, stop leaving it up for grabs. Stop hoping that they're going to reach out to you. Start telling people how to get in touch with you. Right? If you write a piece of content, if someone is asking, then tell them, here is my phone number, here is my email address, send me a message, put this in the subject line. Be very direct, because people do not know if you can help them. People do not know if you can help them if they don't know what you have to offer. If you don't go tell people that you train horses, if you don't go tell people that you provide massage therapy services, if you don't go tell people that these are the things you believe in because of what you have to offer, they don't know that you can actually help them. And this is gonna, I don't want to get ranty on this, but a lot of people in the horse industry don't want to sound salesy. Okay? You guys want to hear my 2 cents on this? If you don't want to sound salesy, quit thinking about it that way. It's not about being salesy. You know what it's about? If you truly believe that what you do provides a positive difference in the lives of the people and the horses and whoever you serve, Whatever your service provides, whatever your product does to make a positive result, a positive impact, I believe, a positive experience. If you truly, truly, truly believe that that is what your product or service does, and you're sitting here going, I don't want to sound salesy, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to promote myself, and because I don't want to come across as just trying to be pushy about my stuff. Guess what the problem is that you're going to have? You're actually not living up to the purpose that you have. Because if your purpose is to be helping as many horses, helping as many people, helping as many dogs, cats, birds, whatever it is that you're called to be doing, if you truly believe that, but your own self-limiting belief is like, I don't want to sound salesy, it's marketing is just merely a word. Marketing is a word for messaging, right? Marketing is what you're doing. That thing of being salesy is merely learning how to effectively market yourself, which is merely learning how to effectively communicate what you do, why you do it, how you do it, and who you do it for. But a lot of us, and I went through this. I don't want to sound pushy. I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to come across as gimmicky or all the things that none of us want to be. We don't want to come across as inauthentic. We don't want to come across as cocky, as arrogant. We don't want to come across as these things. But what happens if you don't put yourself out there? What happens? What is the result? Because for every call, for every action is a reaction. And an action is not doing anything. That's a decision. If you decide to do something, that is an action. And if you decide not to put yourself out there within your business, you don't have the opportunity to reach the people that you're meant to be serving. And what is a greater downfall? Being judged by somebody whose opinion doesn't matter because they haven't done nearly as much as you. They don't understand what your purpose is. They don't understand what you stand for. They don't understand the purpose that God has put inside of you. So they're going to sit there and judge you based on something they don't truly understand. Is that the worst thing that could possibly happen? Or is the worst thing than that the fact that you don't actually put yourself out there, and therefore you don't actually go and help that horse, help that person, help that being, that creature, that community, that family that you're actually meant to be serving? What's worse? Leaving these people out to dry, and these horses and these people out to dry, or is it forever being paralyzed by the fear of judgment? To me, that's how I got over it, guys. Like, full transparency, I struggle with the same thing about promoting my clinics, about promoting my horse training programs, about promoting horses that we had for sale, right? Because people were talking, people would judge, they will do it, but it's always people that have done less, or people that don't understand, or people that will never agree with you, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Because at the end of the day, for me at least, what mattered more was actually the people that I could help. That's what we're here for. You're not here for the people that you can't help. You didn't start a business for the people that you couldn't help. You started a business to help the people in the horses that you could help, right? Like, that's what we all did. So I totally get it not wanting to come across that way, but you have to tell people what they need to do so that you can work with them. You can't hold yourself back in that way, all right? So I want to be very clear on that as far as within your social media pages, descriptions, titles, about sections. You want to have that on point. You want to make sure that you are very clear in your process, whether it's on the social media pages, in social media posts, that you specifically tell people how to get in touch with you. If you have a website, all right, then you want to make sure that you optimize that training horse page or your service page, whatever it is. You want to, if it's a product page, right? Same thing with a product page. It has to very strategically answer those 6 questions, right? They need to know that it gets the result. They need to know that it solves a problem. They need to know that that other people have had success with it, right? So if you have testimonials, case studies, somehow showcasing the transformation that comes from working with you, from using your product, then you want to make sure that is on your product page or on your service page. And it all leads them to, what do they do next? And then in our system, what our students go through is their training horse application. And they implement that. And then that starts the next step, right? And the process continues. But once they've reached out to you, goal accomplished. You've accomplished a lead. You are now aware that they were interested in it. But they will, a lot of times people will not reach out to you if you don't tell them to reach out, right? You'd be amazed by simply going in there and saying, hey, if you're interested in this, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer any questions, because guess what? Some people are just used to getting shut down from closed off people. But if you actually are willing to answer questions, if you're actually willing to take the phone call, that's better, than them just disappearing like a ghost and you never knowing that they were interested in the first place. So you might be in a place right now where you don't have a website or you don't understand how to do the training horse application, and that's totally fine, right? Get them in the DMs, get them in your phone, get them sending you a text message, get them emailing you, get them doing that way, right? The next level is further automation through a training horse application, which is a higher level client experience, which makes your life a lot easier. It makes the client's life a lot easier. But we're not going to go all into that, but I want to give you that showcase there of what would be the next step, okay, from here. Because everyone's going to go, okay, this is good. I'm going to take, the main thing you have to do, I don't want to overwhelm you with things to do or information. I want you to take this and go take action on it. Okay. I want you to take this and take action on it. Like I said, it's 100% free training. I am going to share with you guys some resources to help you continue going forward, but there's no strings attached. It's just merely like same thing in our business, right? We have spent a lot of time creating things that you can use. So I'm going to share them with you, right? And if you want to use them, you can. If you don't want to use them, you don't have to. That's completely fair, right? But I would be doing a disservice to you guys not to share them with you. As far as what we do to help you guys, if you have a training business that is needing clients and you're really between like that 0 and 100,000 mark in your business, okay? If you're in that, what we would consider a startup phase where you are still trying to build clientele, you're developing your brand, you're developing your business, and you're not quite on that established type mark yet. Okay. We have a course, if you're a horse trainer, that's called the Business Course for Horse Trainers. All right. That course is phenomenal. All right. It's helped a ton of horse trainers go through it. If you go click on the website, it will show you, and I'm going to link all this stuff. I'm going to give you guys access to all this. You'll see how we've showcased like other testimonials from other trainers that have gone through it and the results they've gotten. All right. If you are an established trainer, and you have clientele, but you're trying to take your business to that next level. You're trying to get higher level clients, trying to increase profitability. Maybe you're trying to diversify income. You're trying to create revenue sources that maybe you're not trading dollars for hours. We have our professionals program, or what we call our business mentorship program. And that particular program is an application. And I'm going to drop the link for you guys that are on Zoom. I'm going to drop that link for you guys for the professionals program, because I want you guys to be able to have access to it since you guys took the time to be on the call. And it's an application that you would fill out and then schedule a call with us there. So if that fits you, if you're established, if you are wanting to go that next level, and you have money coming in is important. Okay. You already have a steady flow of clients, but you're trying to go that next level, then that's what that's for. If you're like sitting here and you're like, hey, this has been great, I want more, I want to go further in depth, then the real in-depth thing, and like Amber's here, she's gone to this event. It's an amazing event. It's called our $1 Million Horse Trainer Live event. Okay. It's a 1-day all intensive. Today you got a very small piece of that. All right. And that's what I just dropped into the Zoom chat there. And the $1 Million Horse Trainer Live event is a 1-day all intensive where we go through the 5 steps, the decision-making process, the attraction model, the closing process. We go through our delivery process and then retain and upsell. And it is this for an entire day, a very strategic strategy to help you in your business. All right, guys, we've been at it for just over an hour now, and I appreciate y'all's time, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up. If you have any questions specifically for me, you guys can message us directly at office@coltonwoodshorsemanship.com. You can go to any of the links that I provided for the business course for horse trainers to fill out the application for our professionals program, which is our business mentorship program. You can fill that out there. And if you're interested in the all-day event, then the $1 Million Horse Trainer Live event, we'll have those dates set up here really, really soon. So really appreciate you guys taking the time. Cannot wait to be able to help serve you guys in your businesses. I hope that this helped. If it did help, then definitely absolutely send us a message. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this event. And I'd love to continue serving you guys that way. We're going to do more of these free live trainings, and we'll have the replay out to all of you guys that clicked on that link earlier today. So that being said, y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Have an amazing weekend, and look forward to talking to you guys, hopefully riding with you guys sometime soon. We'll see you guys. Bye.